Hi, I'm attorney Derek Gray of Graystar Legal. We are a criminal law firm located here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and this is our FAQ series. So today's question is going to deal with DWIs, or driving while impaired charges. Specifically, the question is, can you challenge a breath test in court? And so, as we always like to start off with, you want to address the law as it's listed in North Carolina. Specifically, we're going to look at North Carolina General Statute 20-139.1. This is going to deal with the actual Intoxilyzer test that happens down at the station. Specifically, and not to get too detailed into it, the state has to adhere to the procedure set out by the Department of Health and Human Services. Furthermore, the officer that's administering the test has to be qualified to do so. And there's a certification process that they have to go through. Also, there's what we call a PBT, which is the portable breath test. The portable breath test is the one given on the side of the road typically. This is going to be governed by the Department of Health and Human Services. I believe it is subchapter 41, title 10A, which will also address the Intoxilyzer as well. But specifically, the state will have to jump through certain hoops in order to make sure that this test is admissible in court. There's a certain procedure that law enforcement officers have to follow and certain foundations that the state will have to lay in order for, in the case of the PBT, for the presence of alcohol to be given to the court, and in case of the Intoxilyzer, which is the one down at the station, in order for that actual number to come in. So to answer your question, it's really a facts and circumstances test or case in terms of whether or not you're going to successfully be able to challenge the breath test coming into evidence. One of the best ways in order to do that would be by looking at chapter 20-139.1 as well in conjunction with subchapter 41, title 10A of the Department of Health and Human Services. And the reason being is literally it lays out step by step the procedure the state has to go through in order to make that number admissible. And as it relates to the PBT, it goes by step what the state has to show in order for the presence of alcohol to be admissible in court. And so this will be things like what type of device did the officer use, specifically as the PBT, what type of device was used, when was it last calibrated, was there a gas canister, was it some type of alcohol solution, when was this last changed? And so they'll have to be able to answer these questions in order to lay the foundation specifically for the portable breath test to come in. Now, as it relates to the Intoxilyzer down at the station, that's going to be things like, were you afforded the opportunity of having your witness present? If so, did they wait the required amount of time that they needed to wait in order for your witness to be there and observe the actual breath test itself? Did they advise you of the rights waiver? You know, what are the ramifications if you actually do not take this test? So these are things procedurally that the state has to do every time they administer this particular test. And if they don't, that could affect the admissibility of whether that number comes in. And so it's really a facts and circumstances test per that particular fact scenario. So to answer the question, can you challenge the breath test coming in? Absolutely. Will you be successful? It really depends on the facts and circumstances of that particular situation. So guys, I hope this helps. There's a lot more to go into specifically as it relates to that. But if you do have any further questions or you've been charged with a DWI, please don't hesitate to reach out to my firm. I would love to help you and guide you through this process.